as you go along with Route 9, this is one of the sites that's always clean and always neat and always well manicured and really something that's good looking, and we think that we would like to remain that way. And I think certainly as long as the Padala family is running this business, and I think you can count on that to be the case. So with that, we're hopeful that you'll find tonight to direct a resolution approving this, be prepared for the next meeting, and that anything you have to do with regard to seeker. I don't know what's left with seeker, but again, there's no other agency involved, so whether it's coordinated or uncoordinated, it doesn't matter except the 30 days, I suppose. I don't know how that works when there's no other agency if you do a coordinated.
Then you're responsible agency as opposed to lead agency. But this is another one where we're doing coordinated review.
We've done that already? We're doing
Declared lead agency and then coordinate. If you want to be lead agency, you have to circulate a notice to other involved agencies saying you're going to be lead agency. If it's a type 1 action, which I don't think this is an unlisted action, then and there are no other involved agencies anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But then you'd have to coordinate it. But this isn't.
Okay. Any comments? Yes, Kim.
So, Glenn, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the numbers. How high is the fence?
Fence is 8 feet high.
Okay, and how high is the tank?
It's got a 9-foot, I said radius, I think, but it's 9-foot diameter tank. It's 3 feet above the ground, so 3 feet to the bottom of the
It's
tank.
12 feet.
12
So
feet
there's 4 feet.
to the top.
And
of
what
the
was
tank.
it going to be before? Because you said it was,
I think it was 11. It would have been still the same 3 foot above the ground.
so it's actually
11 diameter instead of 9 diameter.
Yeah, so we reduced the diameter of the tank by 2 feet. Right?
Okay.
So instead of being 11 and 3, the space underneath the tank and the diameter,
Okay.
it's 11 and it's
And
3
how many,
and 9.
how many gallons does it hold? It was
18,000.
18,000.
It's 18,000 and it's filled to 80%.
So it's the same amount of, because it was 18,000 before, right?
Got longer, the tank got longer.
That's why
Which will freak you out.
I want to leave this for you.
There's no extra safety precautions that's necessary for this tank versus any other installation of this size? Hello?
It's covered in National Fire Protection Association pamphlet. Oh, okay, sorry. It's covered in the National Fire Protection Association pamphlet 58, which is the liquefied petroleum code, and that's in New York State referenced in the building and fire codes. The drawings that I reviewed in the site plan exceed all of the standards, actually for 2012, even though New York is still on 2008 for a little while longer. So this installation is 4 years ahead of the code.
Who are you?
I'm sorry, I'm John. My name is John Hart, and I'm a consultant from Duck Harbor Energy,
Oh, okay.
and this is what I do.
No problem.
I'm the propane guy.
No problem, just wondered who you were.
I'm sorry.
Came in on a white horse.
Well, when the question on the 18,000 came in, I wanted to be able to give a clear answer.
Okay.
What kind of a safety perimeter do you have around this tank?
There are all different setbacks built into this. For instance, the points of transfer are 10 feet from any point on the side of the tank. It's 50 feet from a line that could be built upon. It's 50 feet from an important building, and those are the big three. And then there's spheres where you can have sources of ignition, and they go 25 and 35 feet. Very specific in the code.
You should have been here last week, that poor lady. She was worried about an explosion.
I was trying.
I could have thrown some cold water on her.
I tried to. I was in Concord, New Hampshire that night, so I apologize.
No, that's all right. It's just- your vehicles that deliver to the houses, your residential delivery trucks.
Well, there's some
You know,
parking available behind here.
you're gonna store them back there, you're gonna park them back there when you
Okay, any other comments? I took a ride myself back there, obviously, if we had the comments from the neighbor, and we did take that into consideration, and Glenn's point about the berm, I did see, so, because of visibility, I was concerned too, and to get an idea of the houses behind there and so forth, so I was pretty satisfied with the view, so. I don't know if anybody else has had a chance to do that, we really didn't do that in the site visit, because that item came up really afterwards, and I don't really live in that neck of the woods, so I'm not as familiar with that area, but, okay. Any other comments? Okay.
This one, Evan?
Ron?
Board has a technical memorandum from my office. The applicant consultant has identified a variety of modifications that have been made to the site plan. Further, the latest submittal does include the construction details drawing that I sought, just of the proposed tank and safety precautions. They've now identified that the tank, by notation, will meet or exceed all NFPA 58 standards, which we were requesting. And relative to all of that, they've also submitted an amended or revised EAF for the board's consideration. The EAF now appends the consultant's report on the issue of the safety standards that are applicable to the tank, and obviously go in concert with the revised detail drawing that you now have. There's just a few technical comments that we have remaining. One is relative to whether there's going to be any increased occupancy or staffing at the site due to the installation of this second tank, or additional tank, which if so, could change water and wastewater usage on the property. So we'd like to see some statement or narrative submitted by the applicant to address whether any impacts to the on-site utility systems may occur, and relative speak to their adequacy or capacity. As I said, the construction details for the LP tank have now been provided, but we continue to seek some statement that the fuel oil tank, which is also still remaining as a proposed tank for the rear of the property, that they're trying to maintain that prior site plan approval. And then similarly, a note be added that fuel tank is going to comply with applicable DEC regulations, which come out of Part 612 through 614 and pertain to petroleum bulk storage regs. As a consultant indicated, I think Steve may have indicated, this is an unlisted action pursuant to seeker. You now have an amended EAF, which includes a Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3 before you for consideration. If you find the Part 2 statement acceptable, you might want to just formally acknowledge for the record, or adopt that for the record, since that Part 2 is typically the board's document relative to the EAF, just so that the paper trail is clear. And lastly, there were referrals that were done. You had referred it to Putnam County Planning. They have responded that it was approved as submitted. I also know that the referral to the Conservation Board was done. Again, I don't have any response from them.
They sent us back and their comments were addressed.
Okay,
Satisfied.
Good. All right, so you've satisfied the referrals issue. So, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I need a resolution to accept Part 2 of the EAF.
I'll make that motion.
Kim made the motion, Mary Ellen, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and I vote aye.
Is the appended study on Part 3 of the EAF, or is that, they should accept that as well, or wait until the other report comes in?
That would be an exec.
I think we'll be in the,
All right, so then you can issue it off. All right, no big deal.
yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I just have a
sorry.
couple of basic comments,
I didn't see it.
nothing too major. Again, sorry.
I know what it's like.
Yes. Again, just state on the plan that it is a amendment to an approved site plan and refer back to that site plan on the drawing. I'm not sure, is it?
Site plan amendment section